All right, everybody, we are back again for season 2 of the Coach's Compass. Again, don't remember what episode it is. We just continue to roll, continue to bring on cool guests from all over the world. It's your boy, Coach Crew, reporting live from the US of A. We got Coach Jay, who can't be with us here today because, time difference and everything out like that. Still trying to figure it out. Now, remember, hit that like, subscribe, comment button, and always turn your alerts on so you know when we drop another episode. Now, today, we got another special guest. We got Coach Lorcan out of Ireland. He's a High Rocks athlete. 15 plus years experience as being an athlete and helping you become a better High Rocks athlete. Coach, thank you and welcome to the Coach's Compass.
Yeah, delighted to be on. Delighted to have a chat with you about it all, yeah?
So tell us a little bit more about what is High Rocks and what got you so intrigued and involved in High Rocks?
So the first part, High Rock is ultimately an endurance race. It is 16 stations, 8 of which are a 1 kilometer run, so 0.6 miles in your money, and the other 8 are functional movement stations. So you do a run, then a ski, a run, then a sled push, a run, a sled pull, a run burpees, run row, run farmer carry, run lunges, run wall ball. Average time for a male is about 1:25. The average for female is about 1:40. At the upper end, guys do it in sub an hour. That's a really, really elite performance levels are sub-hour performance.
Jeez. And
yeah.
Why did you choose to go into High Rocks? Like what got you so interested in
it? I love the marriage. I love the idea of hybrid training, which is the idea of marrying conditioning, fitness training with your strength training. The elite guys in High Rocks professionally right now are coming from more endurance-based sports. So whether that's triathlon, Ironman, cycling, or something like that, that's not my background. My background is in weight, more bodybuilding, strength and conditioning. So the endurance side is a challenge for me, but I really enjoy the aspect of pushing my body in a direction I've never had to push it before and being challenged in a way that I'm not super familiar with. I probably the original of this was CrossFit, but I probably have a couple of issues with the way CrossFit works in that I find there are certain aspects of it that could possibly lead to injury. I'm sure people will push back on that, but I'm happy to debate. But I find High Rocks a very, very... I talk to a lot of guys that used to play professional sports, whether that's soccer, rugby, different sports that we play here, and they love it because you're always moving in a single plane, either vertically or horizontally, and then you're running as a natural mechanic. So it's very hard to get injured. You're very safe and stabilized. You're not talking about massive weight, but it's enough to cause a huge pull out of your VO2 and your endurance.
So how could you argue that, a hybrid athlete is a little bit different than CrossFit? You know what I mean? Because if you think about like kind of what you said, like it's like the hybrid is almost as similar to what CrossFit athletes argue that they are. So what would be your side on it?
Oh, for sure. I think the original hybrid athletes, or well, in this space, were CrossFit athletes. No question, the CrossFit is a hybrid. I probably, if High Rocks was asking me to move 1 to 1.5 times my body weight under that much fatigue, my answer is probably no to that. I don't feel safe trying to move 1.5 times body weight when I'm under fatigue like that. I don't know that I can give the quality to the reps. I feel like my form is not going to be good enough. I feel like injuries are just too high a risk for me. And my whole issue there is quality of life. I don't need a back pain or a pain that debilitates me or something like that. I'm not going to make enough money from anything I do. I do this for enjoyment, and I enjoy being able to train every day. So, no, like, CrossFit athletes are extraordinary athletes, but I don't know that it's suited to everybody. That's really all. I perhaps think that High Rock might connect to more people. That's all.
I fully understand that. How are you helping your athletes that you're working with become better at High Rocks? Like, what are some of the things that you're implementing in their training programs, for some of our listeners out there that want to get involved in it?
Yeah, so the biggest area of improvement with this tends to be in terms of lactate and lactate threshold work. So for anyone not familiar there, is that your body actually always produces lactate, but it produces it at very high levels once you go above a certain threshold or a certain level, and it's trying to get your engine set up well enough that you can produce that and clear it at a very high rate. So we work a lot on training right underneath your threshold tolerance, which requires really pushing your body to the max and trying to get those thresholds higher and higher so that you can push through.
About how long does it take to, kind of get prepared and ready for somebody just like show up and be able to do it, or would they like you would recommend them showing up and like actually training beforehand to actually get a good time?
I think for a lot of people, it's similar to maybe a marathon or something like a marathon, as in there isn't a singular answer. If you're familiar with running, a couple of weeks, 12, 15 weeks might get you there. If you're unfamiliar, maybe it's 30 or 40 weeks. So I think it depends on your entry level, but definitely I think that, I think 10, 12, 16 specific weeks or weeks of incorporating this into your training will bring you to a really nice point where you'll be able to attack. One of the things I do think is a big plus is it has a very low entry bar. I do think that if you showed up tomorrow having never done a workout like this, there isn't anything you couldn't do. You might say I can't do it well, but that's a different conversation. That's practice. But you definitely could do it. You could take part in all of it. You disagree?
Do you? No. I agree with you. The running part would suck for me. I would absolutely hate that.
I'm like 200 pounds in 100 kilos. Running sucks for me too, but I'm figuring it out. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Being over 100 kilos just doesn't. The running part doesn't sound fun at all. But
no,
where are you going with Hyrox? Like, where are you going with it all? Like, are you going to be? Are you competing at the world levels? Like, where do you see yourself like being ranked a bunch of all the other athletes?
So I started this journey, 18 months ago as what I would have said was a very average athlete in this kind of space. But I think over time, I've improved considerably. My strength index will be quite high. As I mentioned there, my running is a constant area of improvement. But I've made, I beg your pardon, massive improvements in the last 12 months with it by just being very scientific, very meticulous about how I train, about how I periodize it. And I would strongly feel that I can qualify for the World Games in Chicago this year. It's June 2025. That's my big intention of it.
Okay, so June 2025, we can pull up on you in Chicago and see you there, huh?
That is the dream. Yeah, that's the hope. I think to do that, you've got to be kind of top 2, top 3 in certain qualifying events. You've got to qualify with a fast enough time. And I feel that I'm in that space. I feel that I'm very close to that, yeah.
Where do you see Hyrox going within the next 5 years, 5 to 10 years? Like, is this going to be the new takeover instead of, the CrossFit Games?
Momentum suggests it could at this moment in time, but whether it can continue to grow at this rate, I don't know. It's growing at a phenomenal rate in the last little while. I mean, across Europe, it's huge. They've been to Doha, they've been to Australia in the summer just gone. They're in America multiple times. So it's constantly evolving and growing. I think the next move is possibly to set up international federations. I think they're going to look to get it to the Olympics in the next 10 or 15 years. Or possibly 20. Wow. I think the long-term goal is to have a US championship, an Irish championship, a European championship, etc., and ultimately bring this to a kind of a world stage, to have a national level. I'm pretty sure to do that, if you think of, say, soccer, they have FIFA govern everything and everything runs through. I think they want to set up a world. This is reading between the lines of what I see. I think they want to set up a world federation and then have national federations, the whole national competition, and eventually feed it through to get all the elite athletes collectively together into something like it, and ultimately to end up towards the Olympics. I think that's the long-term goal.
That'd be pretty cool to see something new come into the Olympics. I mean, obviously we're seeing flag football being added, so why not add Hyrox into there?
Yeah, for sure. Now, to give you something that I'm keeping under my hat, I am bringing a proposal to some of the top brass at Hyrox to propose running this into our school system, or what we call secondary schools, what we call high schools, to bring this into high school level your physical education, to bring it into the physical education system as something that kids can do from 13, 14 perhaps. And if we started it at that level, it's a very low level of buy-in, that as in all, whether we as you said, running stuff, okay, but there's no one says they can't do it physically, or very few. And if we could bring this into the physical education system in multiple schools, in multiple countries across Europe, we then have a school competition. I want to try and get an all-Irish school competition established and have it running that way. If we could do that, we would produce an athlete at 16, 17 with high rocks as one of their lead sports instead of, say, football or basketball, to rival football, basketball, or otherwise.
How tall of a task is that, though? Like, how much do you think, these schools would be into, like, bringing that in?
Yeah, the task is huge. So I'm thinking, for me, it's a lot. I am trying to get a couple of gyms to, or equipment manufacturers to, I'd say donate, but lend me certain stuff that we can hold regional events. I suspect that if we do that this year, we'll have very small numbers, but small is bigger than zero. So it has to start at some number, just like everything starts at everything starts at a low base. If I could get 10, 15 schools in the country to produce size, we would have this, I imagine in all countries, we'd have an athletic, like in athletics, there'd be an athletic team. So there'll be a track event. Schools will all show up at such a track event, and there'll be cross country, or there'll be etc. Something like that to essentially hold schools related high rocks events. From there, you build a little bit of interest. From there, you get schools kind of competing on a ladder table or a ladder system, and you try and generate a little bit more interest like that, and you break it into regions or provinces, and you try and kind of build it piece by piece. I suppose my dad always told me when I was younger, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. Everything is one piece at a time.
Exactly. I think the question for me would be, what is the benefit of actually putting it in schools? What do the kids get out of that? Like, having this now as another sport in there. Like, how is this helpful instead of them doing, powerlifting or doing CrossFit or doing Olympic lifting? Like, why would high rocks be better? Or not better, but equal to it?
I think you got there before me. I was going to say it doesn't necessarily have to be better, but I mean, you're going to have like I think you can be like, if I'm 5'10", if I come up against multiple guys 6'4", my skill level just won't hold up in basketball. It's going to be very difficult for me to survive in a game like basketball. Or if you're 100 pounds, if you're a light guy, you're 120 pounds. It's very difficult in American football to survive. Or beyond those physical limitations, you need a certain skill set to be. Basketball requires lots of skills, lots of agility, coordination skills, etc. American football the same, soccer the same, and a lot of coordination skills. I think the entry level for high rocks is a lot lower. Ultimately, if you can move in a straight line, you can pretty much get going. It's incredibly coachable to build those things, to build burpees, to build sled push, sled pull. With a little bit of kind of ignorance or grunt, you could get through a lot of that stuff just from ground zero. And then with a little bit of skill and a little bit of coaching and technique, you get very good at it. You could say the same for Olympic lifting, but I think like the Olympic lifting is a much longer apprenticeship. You have, it's going to take you years and years and years. I have a huge appreciation for Olympic lifting, but it takes so long to get to a very good level. Whereas with this, you can come to quite a solid level, a very competent level in a very short amount of time. I think as well with high rocks, a lot of high rocks is done as doubles or singles. So when you do it as a double, me and you run together, we break up the stations as we want, and it gives that element of teamwork. It gives that element of, we'll do a lot of fist pumping, we'll do a lot of kind of digging in together. There's a really good feeling when me and you cross the line together to say, I dug in for you and you dug in for me. We kind of went to the well for each other. We grounded out together. So I think it teaches kids a lot more than just a little bit of athletic ability. It teaches them what it's like to work as a team, to have to rely on someone, to be able to depend on someone, to be dependable yourself, to show that little bit of resilience when times get tough. I think there's a huge amount of merit in all these sports that we could try and encourage all kids, if we could, to get into.
I was about to say, that was going to be my next question to you, is how much do you think kids would buy into it? Because, if we look at, kids nowadays, well, a lot of coaches will say that they've gotten softer, less, they don't want to work as hard, or whatever that may be. Do you think kids would actually buy into this and actually want to be a part of, even if they're running it solo or they're in doubles? Would they actually do it?
Yeah, I suppose I coach I coach right back to under sixes, under eight in soccer, in different sports. My kids they're all small right now, and with all that stuff, they want to have fun and they want things to be associated to fun. So you'll know if we take American football, you're going to have huge numbers for say Pee Wee football, and at some point, coaches are going to come in and say, "Right, guys, this is about winning now. We got to win. We got to get really serious." And a lot of guys will say, "That's not what I'm in it for. I'm not really here to win. I liked it when it was fun." Other guys will say, "I love how serious this is. I love that we're in the gym 3-4 mornings a week. I love this kind of level." So you're always going to get that drop off. But I think if you can make it fun and enjoyable, your retention levels will always be high. So if we can come to the PE system, the physical education system at what I would call national school or schools at 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, all those kids will give everything a chance. Kids at 6, 7, 8, they just want to play. My kids want to play every sport under the sun because they'll try everything. And they just want to see what's fun. And as soon as it's not fun, they'll tell me they don't want to do it anymore. So if we can try and get it and make it a little bit of, and I think, so at underage, I think you maybe redefine how it works and you set it up maybe as relays, as groups of 4s, as groups of 5. You get them working in little groups. High Rock have something called a Young Stars, which is stations are replaced with easier stuff. So you're moving things like little small pouches, like what you play cornhole with, almost little small pouches, and you transport them like a relay race, and you pick them from A and you bring them to B and stuff like that. And it just gets kids together as a team. It gets them used to races. All kids at a young age like the idea of races. They like the idea of fun. And I think if you can have maybe 3 categories where you have enjoyment, competitive, and elite, there's room for all 3.
So can we see your kids soon eventually joining High Rocks?
My kids are already doing some High Rock stuff for sure. Yeah. You know, I think we all work off the monkey see, monkey do principle. My kids see me train. They see me make the effort. They think it's great. All they know is that kind of effort. So they come with me to the gym routinely. When I go to my own gym, they come routinely. They get involved. They climb rope. They do stuff. They want to swing out a rope. They want to pull out a bar. They want to climb all this stuff. They want to explore. They want to see what they like. And all I'll do is encourage exploration. They run these relays because they like trying. They like competing. They like taking part. You know, they like doing things together as a team. And I think when you encourage the kind of the team ethos and that team environment, kids like being part of something. Just like anybody in a professional sporting environment would say they love being part of a tight group, a tight team. And if you can create those little tight knits, it gives them great friends. It gives them friend groups. You know, it's the number one advice I give to anybody I talk to that's going to all of my students. I'm a school teacher by profession. By day to day, I teach in school. My guys going to college, all my guys that I coach, we play Gaelic football, we play soccer, we play rugby, lots of different sports, basketball. I tell all these guys, when you get to college, university, the first thing you need to do is join the sport. Get on all the sports teams, because you'll meet all the guys that think the way you do, that train the way you do, that follow similar kind of patterns to you, and they'll be some of the tightest guys you'll ever get on with. That's how you get into tight groups, tight friends. My kids in school do that. My kids at such a young age, we do that already. I think I agree with. Sorry, I agree with your base point. There are more kids doing less, but for the kids that are involved, I think all we can do is encourage kids to get involved in as many things as we can. Give them more options to find things they enjoy. There will always be kids that say, "I'd much prefer American football to High Rock." Perfect. There will be kids that would prefer basketball to High Rock. Perfect. It's just another option to put out there to say, this is something you can do where you don't need this level of skill. You need a little bit of work rate and this will come together for you. But if you invest time in it, like playing the piano, like playing an instrument, if you invest time, you'll get better.
Lovely, Coach. Before we get out of here, what is something you would like us to ask our next guest?
Something to ask our next guest is, I suppose I'm always interested in how we deal with conflict or conflict resolution when we feel that things aren't going our way, or when we feel that guys aren't listening to us, maybe in a coaching bit. How do we connect better with people? How do we communicate better? I think a lot of what I look into at the moment is my communication skills, and I'm always interested to find out how some of the best coaches communicate and get their message across in a way that makes people feel appreciated and feel safe and feel encouraged at the same time.
That's always the hardest question for a lot of coaches. You know what I mean? Because you're trying to balance out. I mean, especially if you're in the private sector, like working with different athletes and different population, and all those different types of things. Get them all to, go the same route. Because everybody's trying to get better. So I encourage everybody to get better, but with different personalities.
Yeah, yeah, and I find that my profession as a teacher helps me hugely with all my coaching because I'm so used to trying to communicate, trying to understand what someone else is thinking rather than what I'm. I know how I want it to look, but I have to paint a really clear picture so that you know how I want it. And that's what my words are for. That's what I have to create for you.
That's awesome, Coach. Well, Coach, we appreciate your time today. We appreciate you jumping on. I know you got a busy schedule, just like us, and it's great to have you on and talk about something that is new to us. High rocks. Like I said, we're American football players. We know strength and conditioning from that side, but learning a lot more about all these things out there that are available to athletes that are done with playing too.
Yeah, yeah. That for me, it broadens my horizons. It's exactly like that. I'm very familiar with. I play American football here in Ireland. We have our own league here. Not quite as good as the NFL, but we certainly train hard and enjoy it. I love all the strength and conditioning sides of that. I play as a running back. So my background is in power, explosiveness, speed. So this longer endurance is very much a challenge to me, very much a challenge to build my engine. But we only grow outside of our comfort zone. So I have to step outside my comfort zone to find that growth to the next level.
You said it best, Coach, and that's it for the day. We're out of here.